So human beings, or should I say the modern human being, has been on Earth for like 250,000 years or so, give or take. For this reason, the subject matter that we're about to discuss is nothing new. I repeat, nothing new, philosophically speaking. However, the same old problems still exist. They continue to plague our human society. With the exception of technology, nothing has changed on a substantive level. We still have war, we still have poverty, bigotry, discrimination, and of course, feelings of insecurity, low self-esteem, which can cultivate a real sense of jealousy and resentment towards others, and in turn lead to obsession, an obsession for power, to be somebody, because you feel like you're nobody. But worst of all, the fear of failure continues to be prevalent. It paralyzes people, the majority of people, from actualizing their potential. And that's sad. It's tragic. But to make things worse, these problematic issues are never ending. They're perpetual, ongoing, like the myth of Sisyphus. So Sisyphus is basically a representation of you, okay? And that boulder that he rolls up the hill, it symbolizes your plethora of hardships. And every time that Sisyphus rolls that boulder to the top of the hill, it will inevitably roll back down. Similar to your life. You rectify a problem, another one arises. You solve another problem, yet another one appears. It's a cycle. And this cycle of adversity can cause a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, angst, pressure, frustration, which can lead you to a path of depression and ultimately death. And when I say death, I'm not talking about the physical. I am referring to your spirit, your soul. Even though you're still alive physically, you're already dead inwardly. And that's a shame, because it defeats the whole purpose of life. So as a consequence of these same old problems, the topics that we're going to explore and examine still have relevance. They're still pertinent, still germane, and highly necessary. And to help me, help you make sense of this world, this chaotic and destructive world, I invited a family, a very special family, to share their sagacity, their knowledge, their insightful perspectives on this thing called life. And hopefully, spark the fire within your heart to dance with life, even when it rains, especially when it rains, because that's when it really matters. My special guests are class personified, full of grace and truly elegant. I have a great deal of respect and admiration for them. You'll hear from Nora, my former student, who I like to call the one and only, and her extraordinary parents, Doris and Sid. It was truly refreshing to sit down and converse with them on numerous issues about the nature of our existence. It was a blessing, a privilege, a true honor. And I'm not pandering. If I say it, I mean it. People like them, individuals like them, make the world a better place. So without further ado, I present to you Nora, the one and only, and her extraordinary parents. Enjoy. Okay, Doris, go ahead.
Hi.
I got it.
You have to open it up a little more.
Hi, my name is Doris. I am a mother of two wonderful kids. One of them is actually sitting here, Nora and David. I work as a pharmacist, and I have been in the United States since 1987, exploring different options, living my life, and enjoying the process.
All right, sir.
Hello, my name is Sid.
That's okay.
Okay. Good. My
And
name is Sid.
action.
And, okay. you probably guessed it by now. I'm Doris's husband, and I'm a physician. I've been in U.S. since 1979, ever since the Iranian Revolution took place, and I'm very happy to be here, and I hope you enjoy what we're about to do in the next hour or so.
The one and only.
Hi everyone, my name is Nora. I'm a junior in high school. I was born and raised in Los Angeles with my two parents, my dog Cookie and my brother David. I'm a previous student to Mr. Huynh. He's changed my life. He's my mentor and I can't think about where I'd be without him.
Too kind, too kind, too kind.
Love could mean different things. To me, it means acceptance. With all the faults that I have, with all the shortcomings, whoever can stand next to me and says to me that I accept you the way you are and cherish you the way you are, I consider that love.
Well, to me, definition of love is having a positive affinity for something or someone. Okay. But the problem with love is that it could be, something good or it could be something destructive. Like people love alcohol.
Yeah.
And the more they love alcohol, the more destructive it gets. And, I see that in my practice as a physician.
Yes.
Okay. The word love, when people talk about it, somehow relates to relationships, especially in a marriage. Okay, what I'm about to say is gonna shock you and shock your audience. Okay, love is the most destructive thing that can happen in a marriage.
Yes.
Why do I say that? Okay, because love is a thing, just like sex is a thing and money is a thing. Okay. In a marriage, divorce rate is about 60% in US. Okay, why is that? Okay, when you think about it, people say, I fall in love with someone, I love this person and I want to marry them. Okay, and what happens later? They fall out of love. Okay, so you married this person for the wrong reason then. Okay, because you focused on the love that happened to go away. I want to marry this person because he or she is rich. Okay, what happens when the money is gone? Okay, then you don't want that person anymore. You're gonna throw them away. Okay, so love is truly a thing. Okay, this reminds me of the movie Fiddler on the Roof. Okay, when Tevye asked his wife, do you love me? And there's a song, and the wife says, after 50 years of marriage, you ask me if I love you, I do everything for you. Okay, so a true marriage is not based on love. It's based on this commitment that a couple give to each other, okay, by being selfless, okay, and by doing everything for the other person and putting the other person ahead of themselves, give the other person priority. That marriage would definitely last, okay? But if you get married based on love, okay, and then you fall out of love, you're doomed.
All right. I agree fully. I think love is an intersection of selflessness, understanding, and overall unwavering commitment. I think that love comes with a lot of patience, sacrifice, and willingness, for example. And I also think that whether it's familial love, platonic love, friendship love, I think that it's transformative and it can change over time, just like my dad had mentioned. But I also think that the main premise of love is that it's supposed to elevate both the giver and the receiver. Both people in love, everyone is worthy of love, obviously, and to be loved is to be seen. So I think that love is not just an emotion, it's also a choice. A choice to love someone is also something that's going to come back to you. You're going to be loved because everyone has the ability to love and therefore be loved. And I think that going back to what I said before and how it elevates both the giver and the receiver, I think that because both parties are able to benefit from love, it is a destructive thing. But I also think that because it's transformative, it can be dynamic, it can shift over time, and love is always there. And yeah, I think it's a beautiful concept.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Sid regarding how love can be destructive. Because there's a song by Eminem and Rihanna entitled Love the Way You Lie. It's about this toxic, abusive relationship that's predicated on power, control, obsession, domination. Very destructive. So yeah, romantic love gone awry can be detrimental to one's mental health, without a doubt. On the other hand, friendship love, in my estimation, is the most powerful form of love. And the reason why I believe this is because if you examine your relationship with your parents, for instance, if friendship love is involved, not only are they your parents, but they're also your friends. And vice versa. Not only are they your children, but they're also your friends, your true friends, your close friends, right? Your best friends. So friendship love is very, very profound. If you study married couples, couples who have been together for like 30, 40, 50 years, they will tell you oftentimes that I married my best friend. So, yeah. And I think the reason why it's so profound is because friendship, like true friends, are hard to find. You know, that's the truth. You know, you'll meet, you have a lot of acquaintances, a lot of casual friends, but true friends, that's priceless. So yeah, I think, in my opinion, I love you is a lot more meaningful than I'm in love with you.
So when you say everything happens for a reason, to me it has a lot of gray areas, because even though I believe in destiny and I believe in certain things that can happen no matter what you want to do with it, but I think certain things happen as a consequence of not dealing with certain things in the past. So I'm a planner in life, and a lot of times, like, because I want to, like, make sure that everything is done right, I plan things ahead. And so sometimes when something goes wrong, I'm like, oh, where did I go wrong? And then I keep thinking about it. It's like, okay, did this mean to happen, or was it my own doing? So I have a lot of gray area in that aspect. So certain things, yeah, can happen, and it's a good thing maybe in the long run. It gives you a period of growth. But at the same time, certain things that happen makes you question, okay, so where did I go wrong? Or is this something that I can avoid, like, encountering in the future by thinking about it a little bit more in the past?
Okay, to answer this question, if everything happens for a reason, I'm an absolute believer that there is no such thing as coincidence. Absolutely, there is no such thing as coincidence. This is what I learned from Kabbalah. Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism, that teaches you that universe is involved in everything that happens to you, okay? We have the free will, okay? But whatever happens to us, ultimately, we are responsible for it, okay? But there is no accident, there is no coincidence, okay? And if you accept this mentality, you accept pain, you accept suffering, you accept what's going on in the world that's beyond your control, okay? Because to me, there is a higher being that makes sure, things fall in the right place, even though it doesn't appear that way to us.
Yeah.
I think that oftentimes in times of struggle and hardship, it can feel as though the world is conspiring against us, right? Like during times of war, during times of devastation. I definitely think that's a thing. But I also think that looking back on past events, you can kind of see how interconnected a lot of these experiences and circumstances were. I think that difficult and painful moments are kind of a catalyst for something that's better in the future. And I was thinking about this for a while, and I was thinking, since I'm a true believer that everything happens for a reason, I was thinking about Nelson Mandela, because he's just a true inspiration, right? I think after his story, after he was in prison for about, 27 years during apartheid, I think he was a powerful symbol of injustice or fighting for injustice, fighting for reconciliation, fighting for struggle, or struggling. And I think that his time in prison obviously was devastating for everyone living in South Africa at that time, but it turned out to be one of the stepping stones that freed South Africa, freed them from the segregation of apartheid. And that happens a lot throughout history. That happened to J.K. Rowling, for example, the author of Harry Potter. That happened to Oprah Winfrey. She changed her life around. She grew up in poverty and instability. She had many instances of sexual and mental abuse. And she used that to become an entrepreneur, a show host, a philanthropist. She used her past as a catalyst and made herself have a better life, have a better outcome, have a better, she's just an inspiration because of all the transformative things she went through to be the person she is today.
So I also believe that things happen for a reason. For example, the Vietnam War. It was very unfortunate, terrible. Yet by the same token, because of the Vietnam War, my parents and I were able to come to the United States when I was 6 months old. And that action totally changed the trajectory of my path, my life. So I do believe that things happen for a reason. It's similar to people who die young, whether it's Tupac Shakur, Kurt Cobain, Bruce Lee, Albert Camus, my favorite author, Kobe Bryant. All these people, although it's very tragic that they died young, I believe that once you fulfill your purpose, once you've made your personal contribution to the world, it's time to say goodbye and go to the next level. It's not the quantity of the years that you're here, but the quality of those years that make a difference.
So I like simple things in life. What really makes me happy, and I think it's one of those things that I cannot really compare it with anything else, is being involved in my kids' lives and be nosy about what it is that they do, and when they involve me in their true adventures. And Nora is one of those. So from the moment that we get in the car in the morning and until she finishes school and then we're in the car again, when she tells me about her day, what she did at this period and what she did with that teacher and what she did with her friend, or when my son comes home and tells me about his adventures going out with his friends and doing things and just having fun. When I feel included in those lives, even though I feel like sometimes they don't have to tell me everything, but I cherish it so much when they do. That's the best outcome when it comes to happiness for me. Other little things, I used to like sunny days, but now I prefer cloudy days because I feel like my nerves are, very calm during those days. Driving when it's nice and cool, or going on a walk. Listening to Spotify, my playlist, music, or watching a really great movie. That's what usually makes me happy.
What gives me the happiness that makes me embrace life the way you describe it is the gratification I get when my patients or the family members show gratitude. And the smile on their face, to me, is the world. Because I feel like I accomplished something. I made another human being happy or healthy. I cannot exchange that for anything materialistic. That feeling that I get. Okay. Other things that make me happy are babies. Infants, toddlers. When I see them, I truly want to hug them want to kiss them because they're the absolute sign of life, and they're in their spring of their life. Okay, it's the beginning. Okay, and they're so innocent at that moment, and they're about to go through a very long journey. Okay, and when I see that, it immediately brings a smile to my face.
One thing that makes me the happiest in the world is spending time with my friends and family. I know that sounds cliche, but I think I'm very much a people person. I only find myself to be joyful or excited when I'm around people that I love and cherish. And I find that in every single one of my friends, my peers, my classmates, even my biggest enemies, if I were to have any, they still give me a reason to live, and they still give me a reason to be positive and enthusiastic, and that means a lot to me. But aside from that, I'm really passionate about dance, taekwondo, and music.
I forgot to say dance. Dancing is the best way to express yourself. The best way. I love dancing. Thank you.
So actually, for me, a lot of the times it's the adrenaline after performing in a dance concert. It's finally accomplishing a move that I've been trying or working so hard to accomplish. And I think for me, I'm in a higher dance class this year, and I think the pressure of having to improve and having to get better is constantly weighed on me, but that obviously makes me better, and it gives me a drive to practice. It gives me a motive to practice. Same thing with piano and taekwondo. Whenever I'm learning a new form in taekwondo that I want to master, that just gives me the drive, my drive to win a gold medal in a tournament. And when I finally win it, it's the pleasure, it's the comfort, it's my weeks and weeks of hard work and dedication, and that means the world to me. And you probably know this, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so when I finally achieve something that I really put my mind to and want to achieve, it's just the biggest pleasure to me, because something as simple as learning a piano song that I've been struggling with for 4 months, that's just the biggest, that just makes me want to do it again, and and just drives me. So yeah, definitely accomplishing things that I have put my mind to.
So what inspires me is staying up late, like really late, to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Not because of insomnia, not because I'm stressed, but because I have an idea, a creative idea that I want to share with someone. And the joy, the thrill of putting it together, constructing it, designing it, and knowing that it's going to benefit someone, it's pure exhilaration. And even though the next day I am exhausted physically and mentally, but spiritually I'm so happy, so inspired, knowing that I have an idea, a creative idea that I want to share with the world.
So why am I a pharmacist? Of course, I want to help people. I don't want to make that a cliche, but I think growing up, my dad used to be a pharmacist, and he used to have his own pharmacy, and he used to have a laboratory on the 2nd floor. And as a kid, sometimes my mom pushed me to go to work with dad because my mom wanted some sort of free time, and I would go and explore different things on the 2nd floor, and watching them mix in some potions and making some creams and ointments and all that. And then the respect that he got from the neighborhood, because back in my home country, that's what people do. They go to the pharmacist first. They go ask questions. What can I do here? What can I do there? And he was very much respected among the community, among the neighborhood that he was there, and people asked a lot of questions, and he was empowered by it. And I always gravitated towards science, so I knew I wasn't going to go into engineering, and science was the thing. So I think that's the reason I became a pharmacist. Oh, I also loved chemistry.
Okay.
One of the subjects, because I felt like chemistry was somewhere in between biology and physics. You have to memorize some, and then you have to do some problems.
Yes.
So I love chemistry. So I think maybe altogether, I became a pharmacist.
As a child, we used to watch these series on TV, and there was this particular TV series called Little House on the Prairie. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not.
Yeah,
With Michael Landon in it, right? And by the way, I was so sad that he died at an early age from pancreatic cancer. He was only 54 when he died. But that TV series had a lot of profound effect on me. And my favorite character was the doctor in that series, because he made home visits. Okay, and I fell in love with that character. And I saw myself, becoming a doctor. He was the inspiration, behind, and behind my motivation, to become a physician. And then when we moved to US, there were a lot of other opportunities for me to be involved with, like business. My brothers, offered me opportunities. But a good friend of mine literally slapped me in the face and told me that you have to make something better, out of yourself. Okay, and that was a wake-up call for me. And I'm truly, truly happy that I chose the right path and I became, a physician, because it is so rewarding. It's so great, and people are so blessed to be able to do something that they truly love. Because when you think about it, you spend more than 1/3 of your day at workplace. And imagine if you love doing what you're doing, that by itself, gives you, all the satisfaction. Okay, being a physician has its own challenges. It's stressful, especially nowadays, in the kind of, political environment that we live in. And there is pressure, placed on physicians. But if I were to do it again, I would still pick medicine.
I think for a majority of my life, I've chosen to follow the footsteps of my parents. Right now I'm a junior in high school, as I had mentioned, so I don't actually have a career. But I spend a lot of my time interning at a child neurologist's office. I find it beautiful, obviously, to be able to work with a more pediatric set of individuals, just because, I don't know, I feel like I connect really well with them and I understand their families, and they're our future generation after all. So being able to grow up and influence and change the lives of many young generations is my goal. So I hope to become a pediatrician or child neurologist. Both of those fields allow me to, embrace exactly what I'm looking for, which is to help others. And I think that true fulfillment comes from a career that can enrich both the individual and the patient in a way, if that makes sense. Just because I know that my parents have both helped so many people, and that inspires me because they're exactly who I want to be when I grow up. Exactly. Everything, every virtue that they know, every motive that drives them, they're my inspiration, they're my motivation. So I've learned everything from them, and because they're so wise and they have so much to share with me, it's just... I love you. It's a given that I'd want to be exactly like them. They're so great. They're so wonderful. So yeah, they mean the world to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, you guys.
It's all truthful. It's all truthful.
No, it is. This may sound cliche, but for me, it's all about destiny with regard to education and artistry. Because when I was a kid in elementary school, I just did it subconsciously because I loved it. I didn't think about, I'm going to do this when I grow up. It wasn't until my teenage years, probably like 9th, 10th grade, when I was like, there's nothing else I want to do. If I can't do what I love, I'd rather just struggle. So when it comes to education, artistry, it's all destiny. I am an artist who educates. I am an educator who performs, period.
So it's interesting because my point of view has changed over the years when it comes to proving somebody wrong, or maybe taking their consideration into my own mind and think about, like, what it is that they're saying that makes sense to me. I think the truth is in its action. So however it comes to the surface, a lot of times I'm willing to hear what people have to say, and I listen really well. Sometimes I may not agree with what they say, but in their own point of view, they're on top of what they think they should be thinking about. I may exert my opinion. I may say this is the way I feel, but if you feel like you're hitting a wall at that point, I kind of back away, because I feel like this has to do with the level of experience that you have in life, and maybe they haven't gone through that type of experience yet. Maybe they don't know what might be coming their way unless they do certain things. So I think people are entitled to their own opinion, which is fine, but I don't want to enforce my ideas on them. If they're willing to take it, I'm willing to share whatever it is. I do a lot of that with my friends when it comes to going through life, dealing with kids, having a perfect marriage, or having the perfect friends, and a lot of times we mention that we don't see a therapist because we're each other's therapists. We talk about different things. We talk about husbands, lives, kids, work as a general, and because of that, we share ideas, but we don't try to overexert power, So you're entitled to your opinion, and I'm to mine, and it's all good, We live happily ever after.
Yes. No, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. No, I love
Okay, well, Mark Twain has a great saying. It says, never argue with idiots. And it's true, because when we do try to come, head to head with someone who's a fool, we try to prove ourselves, and we're not getting anywhere. It's a dead-end type situation. So it's better not to even continue, conversation with someone who doesn't respect your ideas, and you don't respect theirs, because it's a dead-end type situation. So when it comes to argument, trying to make my point and prove someone right or wrong, first I want to see who I'm dealing with. Okay, is this someone that I respect as an individual, who has certain mental capacity for me to initiate that type of discussion, or is this someone who's gonna just be selfish and reject my ideas? So it's best to put those type of arguments with foolish people aside, because in a situation like that, they bring the worst out of you.
Yeah.
Because what happens, you become angry, you lose control over your own emotions, and that's really bad, for you, as an individual. For the most part, I don't try to prove people right or wrong unless I feel like I can do them justice or benefit them.
There you go.
I grew up with the mindset that haters are gonna hate, but at the same time, I think that the end goal should not be just proving critics right or wrong. I think it should be more about rendering people that are trying to ruin you or bring you down. I think you should just render them as irrelevant, because I think achievements are self-evident truths, if that makes sense. What you can accomplish truly shows what you're capable of, and your skills and your passions and your purpose. So I think that despite that, I think that a quiet, relentless pursuit of excellence will get you farther in life, rather than just constantly debating with people. Don't get me wrong, I love a good debate, but not if you're trying to prove someone right or wrong. I think it's more about kind of keeping to yourself in that regard, because if you're just going around flaunting everything, and people are constantly trying to bring you down because of it, because they're envious or they're jealous, that shouldn't stop you from continuing on and pushing forward. It should drive you to become a better version of yourself, because that's my end goal, is to become the best version of myself possible. So despite what all these critics have to say, I think I can just keep pushing forward and do it quietly, a little bit under the covers. So yeah.
Right now, at this point in time, I just want to prove others right. Prove them right, because they believed in me. And when someone believes in me, it provides me with the confidence to pursue my dream, irrespective of the odds. And I don't take that for granted. I do not take that for granted. I am truly appreciative. And I use that as fuel to pursue my dream, proving someone right.
So as far as if anybody can rise above and do the things that they're meant to do in this lifetime, I feel like it has to do with different situations, where you are in life, the maturity level, what you really want from life. If you compare yourself to the previous generation, if you want to rise above the way your parents were, maybe do something more. And if you have resilience, you know, it all has to do with certain things. So anybody, to me, can rise above if they're at the right moment in their lives. Now, when is that? Some people may reach it when they're younger. Some people might reach it after they get married and have a family, so now they have to work harder. Some people may not even reach that until much later in life, and then they may have regrets. Why did I not do this? I should have done this, I should have done that. And then they try to teach their children to push through and work hard and be the person they're meant to be. But I think it's different for everybody. It's not like, you know, one question that can be directed. It just has to do with where you are in life and where you want to go.
This is a tough question for me because when people are given the opportunities to rise above, there are a lot of people who reject that opportunity. Okay, there's a biblical verse from Old Testament that God is saying, I put life and death in front of you, choose life. Okay, this is very, very profound. Okay, and if you expand it, you know, God is telling us that you have the free will and you have the chance to make the right decision or the wrong decision. Okay, I won't interfere with that. But ultimately, at every second of your life, you have the opportunity to make the right decision. So choose life. Okay. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people that because of their trauma from childhood, or you know what their experiences were in life and all that, they quit. They get to a point that they say, you know, this is the end of road for me, and I'm not going to rise above. Okay, those people, for the most part, there is no hope for them. No matter how hard you try, there is no hope for them. But that doesn't mean that we should stop, you know, trying. We should still try to, you know, help those individuals to the best that we can. Okay. So please choose life.
I think we have to recognize that not everyone is born with equal circumstances, of course. Some are born into privilege, some are born not into privilege, so that kind of makes finding a chance to rise above, it makes it an uphill battle. But I also think that throughout history, many people have risen above when its time is necessary. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking that Frederick Douglass is a great example. He was in one of the most oppressive conditions, and he still rise above. Sorry, he still rise above, and I think it shows that even though the human spirit is tested, there's always opportunities for transcendence, and there's always opportunities for us to find a chance to climb our uphill battle and get past all of these obstacles, because our spirit tells us that we can succeed. We can, through perseverance and resilience and dedication, as my mom had mentioned. Those are the true factors that really tell you that you can be successful and you can overcome all of your challenges.
Everybody has a choice. I truly believe that. No matter how difficult your circumstance might be, life, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, will send you someone or something to assist you along your journey. Because I've met a significant number of people who've shared their stories with me, and irrespective of the difficulties, there's always someone or something to help them rise above.
So that's actually a very interesting question. We mentioned Kabbalah, and which is the Jewish mysticism, and some of the classes that we have taken in the past mentions that the soul, before it's reborn into a physical body, chooses the family and the friends or the people who actually he or she is going to be interacting with for the rest of his life. Oh, wow. That's being chosen. The fetus has actually chosen his or her parents to be. And so I totally believe that we actually come across people in our lives that are meant to be there to support us. And I also believe that there are people in our lives that are there to challenge us, so we overcome some of the spiritual growth that we need to get to. So what they call it in Kabbalah, they call it corrections. You're here to fix certain things in your life, and whatever is bothering you in life, those are your corrections. Those are the sensitivities that you have to overcome. And once you do that, then your soul has risen above. And if you have to go through lives again, because we believe in reincarnation, the next time you're here, you're a better soul and you have less corrections to deal with. So in your life, you can always look and see the people who actually support you through life are the ones who are there to carry you through this process. And the ones that are getting on your last nerve are the ones who are actually better for you, because they're bringing everything that's within you to the surface so you can correct it. And so I totally believe that I'm here in this family for a reason, and we're here to get to know you for another reason, which is all a good thing.
A reason, a season, or a lifetime. Very profound. Okay. There is a saying that life is a train, not a station. Okay. When we start the journey, we're the passengers in a train, and as the train moves, we don't know anybody else in that train, but we may have the chance to meet someone in the train and have a short conversation, and then the train stops and they get off the next station and other people join in. Okay, so when you think about it, reason, season, and a lifetime, they're all interrelated. Okay, as I said before, there is no such thing as coincidence. So there is a reason that we meet certain people. Okay, and when it's for a season, they teach us the lesson we need to learn, and they move on. Okay, and when it's for a lifetime, those are the very, very special people who we have the honor of spending the rest of our lives with. Okay, even if we feel like those people are like a thorn in our back, okay, there is a good reason for it. As Doris put it, they're there to help us evolve, to help us grow. Okay, so it's a wonderful thing, whether it's for a season or for a lifetime. There is a purpose behind it. There's a definite purpose behind it.
I think yes. I think there's a variety of people in our lifetime that are here to simply teach us a lesson, to get us or help us get through a specific phase in our life, or just remain there indefinitely. I could use you as an example, actually, because we can think about it each step by step. You were the one person that was my reason, my season, and my lifetime. So I think our reason was to have a new English teacher, and you were my teacher and I was your student. For a season, it was for a short amount of time, but indefinitely, for the rest of my lifetime, your impact on me is prevalent and it will be forever. That's what I'm saying. I think that even though you were one person that was in my life for a short amount of time, and you will always be in my life, but you were present there for that specific amount of time, for that season, your reason to be there it completely changed my life.
Life-changing.
It was life-changing for sure. It was meaningful, and I'm going to be thinking about it for the rest of my life. So, and I'm even thinking about like stuff in movies where you're getting over something, or there's always going to be people there, as my mom had mentioned, people that are there to support you or your adversaries. Each one of them help us evolve, like my dad said, and bring us towards a brighter future. So yes, I absolutely believe that there are people there, and one single person can be all three, can be your reason, your season, and your lifetime.
A reason, a season, and a lifetime. I definitely believe in that, but only in the context of the physical space. For example, you meet person A for a reason. You meet person B for a season. You meet person C for a lifetime. But again, only in the context of the physical space. From a spiritual standpoint, an inward standpoint, the impact can be a lifetime, regardless of the physical space. Because there are people who I've met along my journey who I no longer keep in touch with, but their impact on me is definitely for a lifetime.
So does everybody have a passion? It's a very interesting question. We were debating about it last night, and everybody has a different point of view. I feel like that question goes back to the other question when you ask, what is existing versus living?
Yes.
Okay, so for the ones who are actually existing, meaning they're just getting through their day, getting up in the morning, have their coffee, go to work, come home, take care of the kids, watch TV, go to bed. Versus living, who are the ones who actually experiment or experience every little section of what had happened during that day. Whether it has to do with the taste of the coffee, or whether it has to be the interactions that you have with your coworkers, or something meaningful that you can get out of it, that you can call living. So if you're just existing, I don't think there's much passion.
Yeah.
If you're living, yes, you can come up with so many different things that you can call it your passion. Now the question is, if you have a passion, what do you do about it? Do you act on it, or do you just have the passion just for the sake of having it? What is there to do? If you have a passion, do you have to act on it for it to be the passion? Or you just mention it to people, my passion in life is certain things, but you don't act on it. So is that considered to be a passion? So it's very much debatable.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I wouldn't say everybody has a passion. I would say passion comes with certain things in life, and that can change throughout life.
Yes.
My passion as of 20 years ago may be different from my passion today.
Yes.
But what do you do with that? So questions and questions, more questions.
Not only human beings have passion, even animals have passion. Okay? You cannot go on living without passion. You need to have passion, and it could be, for something positive or negative, but without passion, we cease to, exist. When I say even animals have passion, they truly do. Okay, they have that passion for survival. They have the passion for hunting. They have the passion for fighting. So all those passions exist in the animal kingdom too. Now when you bring it to the human beings, these passions is what makes us who we are. So everything we do, when we do it passionately, okay, we succeed. Okay? Because we have to learn from how much passion certain people have, whether it's positive or negative, okay? And basically adopt ourselves to that kind of mentality. Okay, so definitely, we all have lots of passion, and if we want to deny passion, we go into depression.
I want to kind of look at both perspectives here because my parents obviously have varying perspectives, so I'm going to kind of play both roles. I think, according to what my mom said, to recap what she said, I think she believes that not everyone is born with a passion, but they have the ability to find one through experience. And I think that's definitely true. I think that the same passion that I have right now is not the same passion I had when I was 0 years old or 1 year old, because, it takes time to explore and live through life before you can truly find a passion. And I think everyone has the capacity to do it because we're all explorative and we're all imaginative, and that's exactly what a human is. And according to my dad's point of view, I think that as long as you're living, you have a passion, because you have a passion for survival, you have a passion for living. Even people that have lived throughout all of their life, they found passion if they've married someone, if they've traveled the world, if they've cared for a kid, if they've cared for their family. A passion can be walking. It can be walking outside. You can have a passion for nature. I think a passion can be anything you enjoy, anything that fulfills you, anything that gives you happiness, because it's giving something to you and therefore you're passionate about it. So I see both perspectives. I think I'm leaning towards the middle just because I think passion is a very specific and strong word. I think that when you say you're passionate about something, it means that you truly enjoy it and you're willing to sacrifice a lot of your time to focus on that one thing. So as I had mentioned before, I have a passion for piano. So I'm willing to dedicate a large portion of the time out of my day to practice my piano to improve. But if I didn't have any passions such as piano or taekwondo or dancing, then over time I would eventually find one, I'm sure, because I'm willing to explore and be adventurous. But I also think that if I were to never find a passion, I don't know, it's just living is the biggest passion of all, because you're alive and you're willing to spread happiness and be around people that you love, so you're passionate.
Does everybody have a passion? Well, from my viewpoint, no, I don't think so. Passionate people will constantly step outside their comfort zone in order to evolve and grow, whereas people who are devoid of passion, who lack passion, they just want to be comfortable. So, in my estimation, no, not everybody has a passion.
So all throughout your life, you come across great books, wonderful movies, things that actually leave a mark on your soul, and you constantly want to talk about it. When I was younger, I used to read a lot of philosophical books and where I was headed in life and what are some of the encouragements or some words of wisdom that I could actually take from those books or the movies. I came across something that maybe it doesn't have a profound impact on my life, but it's just somewhat interesting that I've been reading recently, and it's the book is called The Journey of Souls, and that's mainly done by Doctor of Psychology, Dr. Michael Newton, and he talks about reincarnation and what happens to the soul after it leaves the body, and what levels of purification it has to go through once it's ready to come back in a physical form. Again, I've always been fascinated with reincarnation. I've taken classes. I just want to know what happens after we leave this physical body, and what are some of the degrees of levels of understanding that we have to go through before we can actually come back again. This book has case studies of the people who actually come to the office and they go through hypnosis. And basically what he does, he calls it as conscious level, subconscious level, and superconscious level, which is at the soul level. And he hypnotizes his cases, his clients, and they go through what happens to them after one of their lifetimes that has passed. So it's been very interesting. But some of the other books that I would say I really enjoyed, Alchemist was one. You mentioned Little Prince, you know, that's actually one of my favorites too. But as far as songs, I have several. One would be Stand By Me by Benny King. The other one is Heal the World by Michael Jackson. You know, that's one of my favorites. And one that comes on top, and I mentioned it to David, my son, and now he thinks that singer is very good, is the Bohemian Rhapsody. Because you go through so many different stages in that song, and every level has a different level of happiness associated to it, you know, so that's what I like.
My favorite book is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. And I actually asked Doris to get this copy, and this is going to be our gift to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
This is the book that I actually read in Farsi several decades ago, and it made a very profound effect and left an impression on my soul. And this is about a Holocaust survivor. Okay, Austrian gentleman who survived the Holocaust, and he became a neurologist / psychologist. Okay, and in this book he pretty much shares his experience during the 3 years that he was in the camp, and he came to this realization that those people who had a purpose, to live, survived. Those people who tried to help other people in any which way they could managed to survive. But those who quit, like what we talked about, before, okay, and went into this deep depression, and those were the ones that ended up becoming the victims. Okay, I highly recommend this book to the audience and to your students, and I want to hear back from you. I want you to give me an input about what you think, of the book.
Oh, you have my word.
Yeah,
oh, thank you,
great,
Sid.
my pleasure.
Thank you, Sid.
And as far as my favorite song, it's "Imagine" by John Lennon.
Ah,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, it's universal.
It is.
And when I think of that song, in my own world, I live in that world.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and I want to see that for the entire human race, to think that way, to talk that way, to behave that way, and show through their action that they commit themselves to a world that's free of pain and suffering. The world that we live in, unfortunately, is a broken world. But I truly believe that God meant it that way.
I agree.
Okay, and the reason that God meant it that way, because He left it to us to repair it. Okay, the repair that we do, makes us a better person and help, improve the world. Okay, when you smile at someone, you bring more godliness to the world. Just by that smile. Even when you have a positive thought, you bring more godliness to the world. Okay? Anything good that you do, you make that positive effect on the entire universe. Okay. So that was for the favorite song. What else is left?
Whatever you feel.
Movie.
Right.
Movie?
Oh, movie. Oh. My favorite movie of all time, I would say, is Ten Commandments.
Wow. Okay.
People laugh at me when I say that. But
That's Charles Heston, right?
Yes.
Charles Heston, exactly. Why? Because those 10 commandments mean so much. The first 5 commandments is the relationship between you and God, and the second 5 commandments is the relationship between you and man. Okay. The physical world we live in is pretty much made up of 3 worlds: the world of thought, the world of speech, and the world of action. Okay. So this order of thought, speech, and action is actually reversed when it comes to the relationship between you and other human beings. For the second set of 5 commandments, it starts with action. Thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, and thou shalt not steal. So our deepest connection to other human beings is through action. So these 3 actions dictate, what we do to other human beings when we can hurt them and put them through pain and suffering. Okay. Then from the world of action, we move to the world of speech. 9 commandment says, thou shalt not bear false witness. Okay. So in a court of law, you cannot use the name of God to say something, which is false. Okay. And then the last commandment says, thou shalt not be jealous. So that's the world of thought. Jealousy happens, in our thought. So the reverse order is fascinating, that with human beings we go from action to speech to thought.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so I would like to say that I'm really passionate about movies and just any form of media. I have like a top 10 list of my favorite movies of all time. So I want to talk about my top 2 because oftentimes I feel like most people, when I bring it up to them or I try to tell them a little bit about it or talk to them about it, they are not aware of the movie. They've never watched the movie, and I'm like, wow, this movie has changed my life. And to know that there are people out there that can't have the same revolutionary experience as I had, it's interesting because I'm just so used to, cherishing movies like that. So my top 2 movies are Django Unchained and Hacksaw Ridge. So Django Unchained, it's a very powerful movie. It is the story of a slave that overcomes slavery over time by earning the respect of the people around him. And I think it's beautiful because it's a story of self-liberation and overcoming obstacles, as I mentioned before. And it's also a story of justice because he fights for what he believes in and he receives exactly what he fights for. So yeah, that's my number 1. It'll never fail to amaze me because it's just such a beautiful story and the actors portray it beautifully. So yes, I really recommend that movie. And then Hacksaw Ridge, it's a story about Desmond Doss. He was a soldier in World War II. He was fighting in the Battle of Okinawa, and what was so beautiful about his character, it's based on a real story, by the way, what was so beautiful about his character was that he did not want to ever touch a weapon. He was against the idea of violence or violence towards others in times of war. So a lot of his fellow soldiers kind of thought of him as like, oh, you're kind of a wuss, you're not willing to touch a gun. But really, it was just because he didn't want to have to harm others. He just wanted to help. He just wanted to save others. So yeah, I feel like a lot of my ideals aligned with his. Obviously, I'll never measure up to how wonderful, and his impact is amazing. He saved 75 soldiers. But yeah, so I think it was just beautiful that he kind of set in stone, never said that I would never ever touch a weapon, ever, because he was so against it. And he instead became a medic. And yeah, like I said, he saved 75 soldiers regardless of whoever it was. He even saved the Japanese soldiers that were America's enemy at the time. So that's fascinating to me. It's human nature. It's showing that you can save, you can help as many as you want. No matter their background, no matter if they're your enemy or not, you can still help them because, you know, they have a passion to help others. What can I say? Passion. So yeah, the two beautiful stories really stuck by me. It was just beautiful to see that Desmond Doss was a soldier on the kind of like war grounds, and his quote was like, "Please Lord, help me get one more," because he just kept going up and down. He kept saving all of the people in war, and that was just beautiful to see. So yeah, those are my top two favorite movies. Song, I would say Rhythm Nation, honestly. Rhythm Nation's a beautiful song. Yeah, it's by Janet Jackson. And after kind of analyzing the lyrics in my class, I've kind of come to realize that it's about unity, and it's about forming together, unionizing for a better future, filled with brighter colors. That's kind of one of her lyrics. So yeah, that was beautiful to me. And then a book. Wow, The Fall by Albert Camus. Thank you, Mr. That's a really good book. Yeah. And Things Fall Apart. Beautiful book. Love it. My favorite book overall is, I really like Shakespeare, which is surprising. I kind of got into it last year. I love Macbeth, but I also love The Odyssey by Homer. Because it's just, it just fascinates me that Homer was able to come up with such advanced literature in that time period. That's the number one thing for me, is just understanding that there are people out there that could have made something that incredible during that time period. Yeah. So that's awesome. There's a movie coming out by Christopher Nolan, which is going to be amazing. I'm really excited. So, yeah.
All right. Favorite book? The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Favorite movie from the past? Cinema Paradiso. Favorite movie from the present? Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. I love that one. Favorite song? For me, I love music scores from cinema. For instance, John Williams, whether it's E.T., Star Wars, Schindler's List, Jurassic Park. I love the musical scores. Also, Henry Mancini, the theme song for Romeo and Juliet. Ennio Morricone, the theme song for Cinema Paradiso. John Barry, he did the theme song for Somewhere in Time. But I love those melodies. There's no lyrics, but it's just the music. It's just the music, man. It just touches your soul. So yeah.
So when it comes down to a quote or a motto in my life, I want to resonate with something that Mark Twain said about don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today.
Nice.
That's something that it's always been my motto in life, and I always, preach to the kids. If you can do it today, get it over with, so you don't have to think about it tomorrow. Because if you don't get it done today, then for the rest of the week you have to kind of think about it, and it kind of bothers you, so you kind of want to put it to rest. So that to me is like one of the best things for me, at least, at this stage of my life, and I recommend it to the kids all the time.
That's an awesome quote. Oh, wonderful motto.
My favorite quote is also by Mark Twain, believe it or not. There are two very important days in your life. The day that you're born and the day that you find out why. I love that quote. I truly love that quote. Okay? Because it should be our constant effort in life to find purpose. Okay? To find why we're here, and why we're put here and what we're supposed to achieve. Okay? The second quote, which I'm not very fond of, is by William Shakespeare in Hamlet, to be or not to be. That's the question.
Yes.
I modified that quote and I came up with my own quote.
Yes.
Okay? To be needed or to be needy?
Nice.
That's the question.
That's good.
That's the question. Okay? So,
That's great.
our effort in life should constantly be focused on being needed rather than being needy. Okay? Think about it this way and think hard. Okay? We are the creation and God is the creator. Okay? He needed us. So he is the needy one and we are needed. Okay? It's magnificent that God, who is almighty and infinite, has a need. Okay? It's magnificent that God is vulnerable. Okay? But for us to be here and to be needed means that our life has a purpose. Okay? Knowing that I'm needed gives me all the joy and makes me the kind of person I want to be, to achieve, to accomplish, to support my family, to support my friends, to support the society. So this constant notion of being needed is what gives me purpose for life. On the other side of the coin, if you assume the role of being needy, we don't need anything. Because once you start thinking you need something, depression kicks in. Okay? Truly, truly, you don't need anything in life. Nothing. You don't need to eat. God needs you to eat. God needs you to sustain yourself. Look at the diet industry. Billions and billions of dollars are spent every year for people to lose weight. We don't need to eat. Okay? God needs us to eat. So God is the needy one. We're the one who's needed. Think about it. Thank you.
Okay, I have the quote by the one and only Oprah. She said, "The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change their future by merely changing their attitude." This kind of just highlights the transformative power of having a positive mindset, right? Like I had mentioned before, I used to be a little bit more of an extreme perfectionist. This could be as simple as rereading all of my essays, rechecking all of my math problems, obsessing over whether or not everything I turn in is perfect, because if it's not perfect, I'm not going to succeed. No. Instead, I completely changed my mindset to understand that progress is the most important factor.
Yes.
And I think this year specifically has taught me that, because I think I've been humbled a lot by my classes. Calculus and physics, yeah. So a lot of the failure, I wouldn't say failure, just a lot of the things that I would hope to improve on, a lot of time it just comes with progress and practice, of course. But yeah, for sure, just instead of fixating on every imperfection that I've ever had, I think it's more important to kind of find a sense of personal growth, or expanding your mastery or your skills or your learning. And I also think that, like, this quote specifically shows that obstacles can limit us, but if we're thinking about it on another level, it can either limit us or it can propel us forward.
Right.
It can, I don't know, just like the mindset of growth, optimism, and resilience, and just being willing to, have changes and transform yourself to be a better version of yourself. that's what's most important. And I think that's what Oprah's trying to say. And going back to her history, her childhood wasn't all rainbows and flowers, right? She built that platform for herself. She became the influential person she is today because of her past experiences. And that's, I think, what makes her so meaningful and memorable, is that she built her own platform, like I said, based on her past. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for her, and I hope that the audience kind of understands that if you change your mindset, you can change your future, you can change how others perceive you. And every change that you're willing to make starts with yourself before it starts with the influence of others. So make the changes that you want to make now, because having a good mindset is one of the most important things you can have in life.
I love quotes. I love quotes. And for me, there's so many, but there's one particular quote that I share with my students. It's by Michael Jordan. I failed over and over and over again, and that is why I succeed. I love it. I love it.
Okay, now wave.
Okay. Count on three. We're at 1, 2, and 3. I'm here with the Cohen family, the wonderful Cohen family.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.